This presentation will guide you through the steps of troubleshooting the F13 fault code on your Dexter washer. Dexter Laundry recommends that all service and troubleshooting be done by a qualified service person. Live voltage is present inside of every Dexter machine. Extreme caution should be used if you decide to troubleshoot your equipment. Dexter Laundry always recommends that you disconnect power to your washer or dryer before attempting any service. Warning: failure to follow these instructions can result in death, fire, or electrical shock. The tools needed for this procedure are a standard screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a 5/16 socket, the Dexter 6324 service key, a 3/8 socket, and a voltmeter. When the F13 fault code is present on the front control display of the Dexter washer, the first step to troubleshooting is to access the variable frequency drive, or VFD, display. Using a 5/16 socket and ratchet, remove the screw securing the VFD cover. This allows access to the VFD display. Check the VFD display for error codes. If the error code CE10 is present on the VFD display, use the following steps to troubleshoot the error code. The first step to correcting the fault code F13 is to power down the washer. Then, remove and replace the data cable that connects the VFD to the main control board. Once connected, perform a soft reset of the washer when powering up. If the F13 fault code is still present after changing the data cable, replace the main control board. Locate the main control board on the front of the washer. Remove all wiring harnesses that attach to the main control board. Next, remove the 5/5/16 nuts that secure the main control board to the control panel. Then, remove the main control board carefully, not to drop or lose the spacers located behind the main control board. Install the new main control board to the Dexter washer in reverse order. Take caution not to over-tighten the nuts. Next, reconnect the wiring harnesses to their designated locations. Power up using the soft reset procedure and check if the washer is in operation. If the F13 issue still persists after installing the new main control board, the next step is to replace the VFD. Before installing a new VFD, there are 3 items that need to be checked for proper working order. These are the incoming voltage, the braking resistors, and the motor resistance. All 3 of these steps will require the use of a voltmeter. The first step is to check the incoming voltage to the machine. L1 and L2 should each have approximately 120 volts present. Remove the protective cover to access the incoming terminal block. Using the voltmeter, put the red lead on the L1 terminal and the black lead to the ground on the terminal block. Next, put the red lead on the L2 terminal and the black lead to the ground on the terminal block. If the voltage is not the same on both L1 and L2, consult a certified electrician to correct the issue. The next step is to place the red lead of the voltage meter on L1 and the black lead on L2 to check for total incoming voltage. The incoming voltage should be 208 to 240 volts AC. If the total voltage is lower than 208 volts or higher than 240 volts, consult a certified electrician to correct the issue. The next step is to check the resistance of the dynamic braking resistors. To do a resistance check of the braking resistors, make sure the machine is powered off. Using a voltmeter on the ohms resistance setting, put the red lead on one connection of the braking resistor and the black lead on the opposite connection of the same braking resistor. With the wires connected to the braking resistor, the reading should be 80 or 100 ohms depending on the model of machine. With the wires disconnected from the braking resistors, the readings will be 160 or 200 ohms, depending on the size of the machine. If the readings are outside of these parameters, the braking resistors will need to be replaced. The last step before installing a new VFD is to check the motor winding resistance. You can locate the T1, T2, and T3 motor leads on the terminal block of the VFD. Use a voltmeter on the ohms resistance setting. Check the resistance across the motor leads by placing the leads of the voltmeter on each wire, testing between T1 and T2, T2 and T3, and T1 and T3. Check with your local Dexter representative for the resistance values for your specific Dexter model. If the values are outside of the recommended specifications, the motor will need to be replaced to prevent any damage to the new VFD. After checking for proper incoming voltage, braking resistor values, and motor winding resistance, you can now install the replacement VFD. If the VFD display is blank, non-illuminated, or has 8888 displayed, these are signs of a failed VFD. The VFD will need to be replaced. To remove the old VFD, loosen and remove the 6 5/16 screws securing the VFD to the machine. Next, pull the VFD out of the mounting bracket to disconnect the wiring. Before removing any wires from the VFD, take a photo or write down the wire locations to use as a reference when installing the new VFD. Then, remove the old VFD. When installing the replacement VFD, reconnect the wiring to appropriate locations using a wiring diagram or a photo taken of the wire locations. Once the connections are made and checked, power up using the soft reset procedure. The machine will power up to the factory default display. Then, reset the vending prices for the washer. The washer is now ready for use.